Hey everyone, thanks for joining the video here this evening. This is the evening of December 17th, 2019. We are 1 hour away from the daily close. And what I'd actually like to do today is focus less on Bitcoin because we all know what Bitcoin is doing and take a look at some alts. See if there's any opportunity here because you have things like Ripple that are down 12%, Bitcoin Cash down 10.5%, EOS down 7.2%, Ethereum down 9%, so on and so forth. You've got Cardano down 8%. I want to take a look quickly through some of these, and I do put some emphasis on quickly because I don't want to waste your time on something that really has no merit. So let's just take a look at some things here and just see if there's any bullish interest in any of these assets. So we're going to be looking at a shorter time frame. Also, kind of take a look at some larger time frames on some of these as well. So, things like Ethereum, where we might have some potential for some bullish momentum here in the coming let's say days, maybe hours, but we'll say days just to be safe. Of course, as you can see here, this isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm here just giving my opinion on the market, and you can either agree with me, disagree with me. It really doesn't hurt my feelings either way. So without further ado, I say let's go ahead and just kind of look into this. I don't want to spend more than 20-25 minutes going through all of these assets, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time getting really deep into each and every one of these. If there is something you want an in-depth analysis on, just let me know. And I can do that. No big deal. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. So first off, we're here looking at Ethereum. Ethereum is trying to create a bottom. We've been down here in this $120 range. We just tapped $120, just moments ago. And this candle, which has 49 minutes left inside of it, if we can start closing above this range here, which I would say at about $122 to $123, I do think that there is potential. But on this hourly, we do have to focus on this because the hourly is going to be governing our price action right now. And I would be venturing to say the 30-minute is probably doing the same as well. So this 21 exponential moving average here on the 30-minute chart, we got rejected at the 21 exponential. So very likely that we do push up to, about 124, maybe 125. But I wouldn't consider a buy in Ethereum until we can cross above 125.50. That's just plain and simple, because very likely with us getting rejected at 125, then we would basically have been rejected here at this 21 exponential on the 30-minute chart again. If we are able to push up above that, then I'm going to start taking a look at higher time frames. You've got your 2-hour time frame right up here, which is at about $131. But this 2-hour candle, it's looking pretty good for some upside. Taking a look at the stochastics. And again, I'm only going to spend maybe a minute or two on each of these, so apologize if I'm flying through this, but I do want to get through these assets and just kind of take a look and see what we've got because they're obviously all in a bear trend, right? So we're just looking for the bounce. We're not looking for the bottom because we don't know where the bottom is going to be. We're looking for a bounce, maybe when we start to create a little bit of a bottom. We just had a massive sell-off on Bitcoin, which is killing all of the Tether or USD trading pairs on all of these assets. You've got the 12-hour just starting to curl up just a teeny weeny little bit. You have potential bullish divergence here on the hourly, especially from the bottom back here. And this bottom here on the hourly goes all the way back to way up here. So we had definite bullish divergence on at least on the 1 hour from what I can see here. And again, if we can start closing above, if we can start closing hourlies above 122, to basically, I'd really like for us to close it above 123, ideally, then I think we have continued move to the upside, potential move up to the 127 or the 130 to 131 mark. Let's take a look at Ripple. Everybody's interested in Ripple. I actually think that Ripple is starting to create a little bit of a bottom down here personally. This is just my opinion, of course. Stochastics, we're showing there to be some serious bullish divergence on Ripple. I think Ripple has some serious upside potential here. It's just my opinion. From down here where we're at, which is at 17, we went below 17 cents. So we'll just say, sorry, we went below 18 cents. We'll just say 18 cents right now. I think that there is upside potential back up to potentially this 19 to 19.5 cent range. But over time, I actually do believe we're probably going to go up and test the 100 exponential, which is going to be at about 20.5 cents. So I do think that there is upside potential. I think the risk to reward is pretty good here. Stop loss at these previous lows. So buying Ripple at 18 cents, stop loss at 17.7 cents. That's not that bad. That's pretty decent risk to reward. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark this off here. I'm going to say that it's probably going to come back down again, probably to this mark right here, which is going to be right at 18 cents. And again, I'm going to be looking for a move up to about 20.5 cents. So let's just see where this all pans out. So 20.5 cents is going to take us right about right here. And your stop loss is going to be just on the other side of this low. So I'm going to say probably 17.6 cents. You're giving yourself 2.17% loss for a potential 13.95% gain, basically a 14% gain. So that's 6.4 to 1 odds. That's not bad on Ripple. Again, stop loss on the other side of this. Whenever you're trying to buy the price action after a big dump has occurred, you have to see these swings, right? So previously, the swing low is right here. We violated that, and then we just continued moving to the downside. And now, if you're in it to try it again, to try and buy down here again, assuming that you did try and buy up here, and assuming you did set a stop loss and you did stop loss, and now you're trying to get another entry down here, I would say an entry at 18 cents and a look to this 20.5 cent mark. So you're really only talking about, 2.5 cents. Not a big deal, but something that only costs 18 cents, that is a big deal. So, a 14% gain potential there. Let's take a look at Litecoin. I want to take a look at Litecoin because it's going to look very similar to Ethereum, but I want to take a look at Litecoin on a daily time frame. I want to take a look and see what's happening here because we have a swing from the bottom all the way up here to the top, right? And we have collapsed beyond the 786. So we're basically hoping for the 887 to hold, and we are basically there. We are very, very close to this. Let's just take a look at this. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit so we can see where we're at. Okay, so right now the 887 is at 36.23. I can't believe I'm saying that Litecoin is back at $36.81. This 887 has to hold. If this doesn't hold here at freaking $36, we're probably going to fall below $22. Now, think of Litecoin in terms of Bitcoin. Litecoin made a several 100% increase. Bitcoin went up a couple 100% as well. Litecoin has retraced 88.7%. Bitcoin hasn't touched that. And in parenthesis, I'm going to put yet. We have to be careful for this. But yes, Litecoin against the Tether trading pair, I have to believe that we're going to see a little bit of a bullish reaction off of this. And if we don't, then I'm saying that it's good game for Litecoin if we don't see a move off of this. We were talking about this bounce here at the 786 a while back. That trade played out pretty nicely. It went all the way up to $65, which was, back up here. But yeah, we failed. We had a swing failure pattern. We had these lows here, and then we got failure at these highs. And now we're back down here. We had a low right here. We had a swing failure again. Now we're coming back down here. So what's going to happen at $42.50? I certainly hope we do get a push above $42.50. Because if we don't, if we get a failure at 42 to 42.50, it's going to look just like it did back here. It's going to look just like it did back here. It's going to look just like it did back here. It's going to look just like it did back here. It's just over and over and over, you guys. Instead of what we were in a bull market where we were basically having resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, over and over and over. Now we're basically saying, all right, well, we have support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, over and over and over. We have to break above 42.50. And I'm not saying buy here. I wouldn't recommend buying here at this point. What I would say is if we can push above 42.50, I would say that is a safer place to buy than it is right here. Sure, you're going to miss a $6 move. You're going to miss a few percentage points, but it is safer to buy a pivot that reclaims support from a from what should be a resistance level. This level right here, I'm going to zoom in so that we can take a real quick look here at a lower time frame. Again, we're looking at dailies. This level right here at 43.42, this should be resistance. If we can push above this, I mean, if this looks like a capitulation candle where the next two candles move itself back up here, we're going to come back down to retest this $42, $43 level. That would be where I would be looking to buy right there. Buy the pullback. Don't buy a falling knife at this point. Back here, we had some technicals to go behind this at the 786. It looked good at $48 to $49, and then we had a massive move to the upside. Now look where we are. We're here at the 887. This is weak. This is very weak. So I would look for a daily break above $43 by the retrace to $43, and then you can see continued move to the upside, maybe retest this 200 simple moving average, which over time probably is going to come back to $70. But that's my thoughts here on Litecoin. Stochastics, let's go ahead and go down to an hourly time frame to see what stochastics look like. More than likely, it's going to look like just about everything else. And yeah, I mean, everything is way down here. Everything's way down here. The only thing that's really suppressing it is the 12-hour, which is pointing down. But again, you've got some decent bullish divergence. If we take a look here, which is really quite interesting, on the stochastics on the hourly, you've got, you know, a few touches here. You've got this touch, you've got this touch, and we're looking at this green stochastic. And then you're likely going to have another one here, which is going to hopefully to make a move to the upside. Again, remains to be seen. But you've got that on your side. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash. It looks just like the rest. Again, let's take a look on a daily time frame. Zoom out a bit. This doesn't look like it went nearly as parabolic as things like Litecoin did, but let's just take a look and see how far we have retraced. We are sitting at the 786, which, you know, honestly is a little stronger. Litecoin has come all the way down to the 887. You know, Bitcoin Cash, let's see what happens at 165. Let's see what happens at 165. But again, you know, on the daily, all of these all of these moving averages are in a downtrend. So you have to be very careful buying. And, you know, somebody on the Discord server was pointing this out. You know, some of these tethered trading pairs are creating what's, you know, a shoulder, a head, and then another shoulder is being created. But the interesting thing about these is, you know, these can be seen as a continuation to the downside when you have a move like this. So technically, if we do a measured move off of this from the top of the head to the bottom of the shoulder, let's see where we would be ending up, and we're looking for a 100% move from that. So I've got my measured move template. 100% is going to take us down to $87.25. So if this is a head and shoulders, and if in fact the neckline just broke, then it's the technical measurement of this is to take us down to 87.28. I would be interested here at half of the height of the head, which is going to be at $142. So we'll take a look and see what happens at 142 to this $165 mark. If this breaks, we're likely going to come back down here to 87.28. Again, just like some of the others, wait for a break of resistance and wait for it to reclaim support. All right. Let's take a look at EOS. EOS has, you know, this is actually the Coinbase chart, so it doesn't have the same amount of history as some of the others do, but it's got this same pattern that we're kind of paying attention to and looking at. You know, we're seeing a move to the downside, moving down to an hourly time frame. Let's just take a look and see what kind of divergence we have. You know, all of these are screaming bottom, and actually the stochastics look a lot better on this than some of the others. You know, most of them are below 30. You've got the 6 hour, which is all the way down here at 23. You've got the 4 hour, 24.5. You know, you've got the hourly, of course, which is pulling back. Let's let that reset. Let's let that reset, maybe see another push. And again, this is on EOS, maybe down to about $2 to $2.10. Very likely that will happen. And again, I'm taking a look at this, you know, from a wave perspective. It does look like there is potential completion of a fifth that is in the works right now. So this is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to see one more move down. And more than likely, a lot of the other trading pairs, including Bitcoin, may have one more move down. I do want to take a look at Cardano. because I know there are a few people on the Discord that are interested in Cardano. So let's just take a look at this. The stochastics on Cardano also are all down pretty low, at 40 or below. I would say that this has gone a little steeper than a lot of the others have. And as most of you are aware, I am in a short on Cardano's Bitcoin trading pair. And let's just take a look here. From this low right here, we've got a very similar pattern forming here. So we've got a touchdown here, we have another one right here, and another one right here, and it looks like we're going to test this again. If this hourly does break down below there, I would say that it probably is going to have a steeper decline. But Cardano being only at 3.1 cents right now, that's crazy. But yeah, I can see that this does have potential for another movement. Again, probably down to maybe 3 cents flat, maybe 2.8 cents. I want to take a look at Algo. Algo looks a little spotty. There's not a whole lot of volume on this exchange. Of course, this is the Coinbase chart. We've got our low back here at 19 cents, and so let's just take a swing low to swing high, and I'm going to get my template on here. I've got my internal retracement. So we've got the 786. And then we have the 887 at 20 cents. So more than likely, Algo is going to go back down to about 20.75, maybe 21 cents, somewhere in this level. If this breaks, we're probably going to go back to maybe some new lows, which would be pretty interesting. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart and see what we have here. And then if we take this and pull this back a little bit more, we've got the 786 again at about 20.5 cents. So very likely we do come back down to about 20.5 cents on this. I know a lot of you are hoping for alt season, so the last thing I want to take a look at is Bitcoin dominance. And we took a look at this previously, but let's just see how bad this looks now. Bitcoin dominance is actually skyrocketing. All right, so this is really quite interesting because I was not expecting this. With Bitcoin dropping as much as it has, the money is flowing out of alts, and whether it's into Tether or into Bitcoin or just leaving the market completely, Bitcoin is dominating the market. Bitcoin is down 4.13%, and a lot of these alts are down 5, 6, 11%. 11.4, 11.5% on Ripple. So let's just go back to a daily time frame. I did an analysis on this. This would have been a couple days ago. And I was kind of projecting that we were going to see a drop in Bitcoin dominance, which would have been good for alts, and the opposite is happening. So I do have to recognize this, that we are breaking trend, and this trend movement from here on its way down, we broke through this, and now we're taking a move to the upside. What I think might be happening here is that Bitcoin is probably going to go for another run. Based on everything I'm seeing, the alts are all bleeding, and Bitcoin is kind of holding steady here at 65 to 6,600. I know it's only been a couple hours, so I'm not going to get too bullish on this. And I know I wasn't going to talk about this, but let's just talk for just a moment on what this daily candle that's going to be closing in 34 minutes looks like on Bitcoin. It looks awful. It looks absolutely terrible. Yesterday was a 3.29% drop on Bitcoin. Today was a 4.13% drop on Bitcoin. Unless this thing starts to reverse, we are looking for one more red soldier taking us down to a new low. Now, is this going to be a start to the move down to 5,800 like I've been hoping for a long time? I don't know quite yet, to be quite honest. I don't know if that's going to happen just that fast. This next candle tomorrow, what it needs to close looking like, it needs to close looking a little bit like this green candle right here. We need to have a wick down and a nice push up. And same thing with this candle right here. If we can get a doji down here that has a wick down and a wick up and a very small body, that would be ideal, because that would tell me that bears are getting exhausted and bulls are accumulating, or bears are starting to turn a little bullish. and they're going to be basically closing out of their short positions. I am interested in what's happening, as you all know, with the longs and shorts on Bitfinex. You know, keeping an eye on those as well, watching to see if any of those close. We know that shorts have been increasing on this move down. Likely those shorts have been partially fueling the drop in Bitcoin. But you know, at some point, shorts are going to start getting what's the word, punished. Shorts are likely going to start getting punished at some point, which is one of the reasons why I've been hedging long positions instead of closing my short, because this thing could fall out the floor and go all the way back down here to 5,800 at a moment's notice. It can happen so fast. At the same time, the opposite can happen. And what tends to happen is you don't get a whole lot of time to catch a wick on the bottom. If I go down to a 1 minute chart, for instance, let's take a look at this 1 minute chart. Okay, so in 1 minute, this thing dropped from 65.76 down here to 65.55 and then went up to 65.81. You didn't have much time to catch this down here, right? And it just happened so fast. So that is why I have my short position and I am hedging a long position, because at any moment this thing could skyrocket up. Yes, Brian, I will take a look at VeChain for you. At any point, this can skyrocket up, move to the upside, and you know, it's very easy for you to miss out on that move. So having a hedge position, it can work to your advantage. It is a little more advanced. It is not for everyone, and it is dangerous to hedge positions if you don't know what you're doing. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm just saying this is what my strategy is. All right, so for you VeChain junkies out there, let's take a look, and let's go to a 4-hour time frame. And what do you know? Look at this, beautiful. We are right in my buy zone. Right in my buy zone, right down here. We touched it, and again, we were looking at 4,400 to 4,600. Wow, that is great. It's great, but it's not, because we are violating our previous low. So the hope that we had for bullish, hidden bullish divergence on this chart, it's not as exaggerated right now. So I would just say be careful on this, because what was happening was, and we can see this on the 12-hour. Let me just go ahead and clear off the rest of these so we can see them. Let's just take a look at just the stochastics here on the 12-hour time frame. All right, so we've got the important one there, and I'm going to get the dark one on here so we can see both of these. All right, so we had a low on our 12-hour, and then we're creating a lower low. And this, we're getting a bottom. We're getting a bottom indication here that we are going to get a relief rally on VeChain, and it is probably going to happen. Now, you know, with VeChain, I wanted to go above 4,900. If it goes above 4,900, then I'm going to want it to go above 5,300. Okay, these are going to be levels that are going to be very interesting for us to push through. What I can see right here, we have from up here, we have, I mean, you could say that this does look a little bit like capitulation. I would like to see another move back up to 6,500, and then see a pullback, and then see a move up and out of this. This is our bullish scenario. In order for us to be bullish, we really have to see this thing rise. If you're going to risk buying here, I would say to have a stop loss right on the other side of maybe 4,300. You know, you're going to be risking a lot at these prices. You're going to be risking a lot. We have this cluster here to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and just draw this out real quick. Parallel channel. We're going to take a look right here, and we're going to pull that straight over. This is the area that I would be interested in accumulating if we get down here. But if you're going to buy here, I would say stop loss on the other side of this and start accumulating in this area. And again, your next stop loss is going to be at 3,800. So, you know, having a stop loss up here at about 4,350 to start accumulating at 3,800 is the likely route that I would be interested in taking. What I really don't want to see, I don't want to see us come down here and test the bottom of this, which this would take us, you know, if it takes days, it could take us all the way back down to 3,000. But for right now, this is the technical pivot that I have been interested in. I've had this outlined for days, actually probably weeks at this point. So I'm going to be paying really close attention to that. Take a look at Chainlink. And then this is going to be the last altcoin that I take a look at today. Yes, so obviously we did not push up and out of this. We have pushed down. And what level are we currently at? Let's just take a look at this. Yeah, actually this works out really nicely. So what we had measured the top down here to the bottom. We retraced to the 382. This looks like this is on a log scale. It's not on a log scale. Oh, because we don't have the 236 on here. Okay, so nonetheless, we pushed down here. We did a retrace. We went up quite a bit. We went up to this level at about 231, and the algo target technically is about $1.66. So what I think is probably going to happen here, if I'm being completely candid and honest with all of you, what I think is going to happen with Chainlink is we are going to do something a little bit like this. We came down here to the low. We're on a 4-hour chart, so we're probably going to do something like this, and then we're going to see this move down here to about $1.65, and then we're going to start to see this push up and out, and then we'll kind of wait for this to happen. But I do think that Chainlink is probably going to get another move down to about $1.66 to $1.65, and that's going to be the true algo target, which is at that 23.6 extension, which is at 166.5. So obviously we broke $2 and then we flew, and this all happened over just the last day or two. So very possible that this does create a little bit of a bear flag. We get one more push down, go into demand, because again, this does look like we're starting to bottom out down here. We do on the 12-hour look like we are creating some significant bullish divergence. So keep an eye on that. All right, guys. Well, that's all I've got for you right now. I got to scoot, but thanks for joining. Thanks for joining in. If this helped you at all in any way, shape, or form, please like, subscribe, share. Tell your friends, and if you'd like to join our community of like-minded individuals, shoot a comment here, and I will get you an invite. Hola, Paraz. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're having a good day too.